everybody, it's your girl, Baby Red, and you are welcome to another amazing episode of Hottakes with S.O.G. And I am here with S.O.G, Khocee.
Don't forget to say the official Baby Red.
Khocee.
Khocee.
You know what I mean?
None of my siblings.
Naraka.
I'm going to introduce your guest.
You're a very mean person, but my God,
that's my life. I'm a better person, a very bad person.
Guys, so as usual, we always have amazing guests on set. We have Mr. Ifechukwu Alexandra on set today. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
We appreciate the fact that you could join us today. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Okay. My name is Ambassador Ifechukwu Alexandra Nwakamma.
Okay.
I'm a techpreneur, software engineer, Microsoft certified cybersecurity expert, and an agro-allowed
cyber security expert.
Yes.
You used to catch people that used to scam.
Actually,
I
work with the federal government security outfit.
Oh.
Okay.
And today.
Okay.
Say no more.
Let me talk too much. My boss.
Okay, my name is Mr. Augustine Onukwube. I'm a political enthusiast, a realtor. And also a government appointee.
I'll just be big man who's set today. Just a year.
When you say big women minus you, yeah? I have to ask.
I'm not supposed to do that because you got this Gen Z.
I don't really roll with old people. I'm just doing you a favor. Okay, guys, today's topic: between restructuring and secession. Do you understand my English? Or do you need dictionary? Between restructuring and secession, which one do you think Nigeria needs? You guys.
You don't need long talk. See political analysts. I mean,
should we say you guys? Did I mention you?
Make you first give us a take.
So, Mr. Onukwube, what can you?
Okay, my take on that is that Nigeria at the moment doesn't need secession.
Okay.
What Nigeria needs is restructuring, given the events over the years and our peculiarity, the divergence in views, political backgrounds, religious backgrounds, and also the various interest groups. So I think secession is very difficult, even from your immediate family.
Yeah.
So you said something there. Sorry, I'm cutting you short. You said for now, and you said very difficult. So let's say it wasn't so difficult for secession to happen. Let's say, we're not talking about now, let's say before now, do you think secession would have been better?
What actually gave room for secession isn't what is happening now. It is what happened before.
It's still happening till today.
The
only difference is I said they never commit genocide.
There are some changes and a lot of exposure, and should I call it more like there is a paradigm shift from what used to be and what it is now.
Okay.
So before now, the internet isn't there. A lot of people aren't exposed to so many views. We're only told that this is what we want.
Yeah.
But now people get to access information directly from whatsoever source they want. The only problem we have is filtering those informations and implementing on them. So what actually gave room to secessions are marginalizations, political dissent, and the rest.
And you actually think marginalization is not a real thing?
That is why I said for now. Marginalization is actually a big problem, but I think some state policies are beginning to address those issues. The previous government had a very big issue when it comes to inclusiveness, and the current administration, though in quotes, it's actually trying its best to address some issues. When you look at the appointments from the angle of the National Security Advisory Council, you see that there is a bit of inclusiveness there. It wasn't there before. Almost all the appointees from that particular gathering are from the north, but currently there is a mixture of those from the north and also from the south. So I think that issue has been addressed.
Do you agree with him? Do you agree with him that restructuring is better than secession?
Secession.
He said, for now. For now.
We won't know when.
Anyway, we are not in for any of them. But if I'm to say, as an angry Nigerian,
I don't think the person as a happy Nigerian.
if I'm to say as an angry Nigerian, and with data as of a social media this thing that was carried out as of 2019, you will know that many people are clamoring for secession, not only the Southeast.
Yes.
I think even some people in the Midwest as of old, Central North, are clamoring more than us. But the issue is they don't have the social media voice like the Southeast. Even the Northeast, many people are clamoring for the secession, and with the strife, current both past administration, current one, there's political tension everywhere. Everybody is on their toes. So if you ask some people in their bedrooms, not outside, they will tell you, make everybody they go. Go your country, if na row better for that. You know, if it turns to the case of Sudan and South Sudan, talk. If you go and you do yourself better, talk. So many people are in for it now for secession. Before we're clamoring for restructuring. But if you go back properly to federalism as it should be, and still the government controls the oil, controls most of the resources, then you know you are still under what we are still practicing of the central government. So restructuring itself for me is just like
Postponing the
like giving SARS what. There's these the same people inside you. So that's just it.
You know what? Okay.
I think what we're not actually getting right here is what truly secession means.
Okay.
In simple terms, it's separation.
Yeah.
You carry your own family,
And
go one side. Carry my own family, go
go
one
on
side.
side. Yeah.
Now, in that family, that little setting, let me use the Igbo nation as an example. The Igbos, if we decide to separate from Nigeria, don't you think that there is also marginalization among Igbos? How many Igbos are ready to marry from freely without interference and the rest from other states? And when you come to that state, how many Igbos will go on freely?
You know, marginalization. You talk about marginalization. It's there everywhere. It's there everywhere. Now, but there are certain levels to it. Now,
That is what
as someone that is from Enugu, when you're looking for people to work with, you can't say, because person from Anambra no fit work, or because person from Emeh cannot work. You would be fine with it. But you notice that when we come to political gatherings, they do it. Whether the person is qualified to do that job or not, just because okay, now from my side, do we can give him the job.
just recently, they introduced a policy that eradicated the tag state of origin. The only reason why such was introduced is to reduce to some extent marginalization. Now, back to the topic. If the Igbos should decide to separate, Anambra will want to be on their own to control power. Now, the bone of contention here is not just the leadership, but control of resources. That's the bone of contention, not who becomes the president, but control of resources, division of resources, and the rest. Who gets what and who gets this. Now, if you're restructuring, you're devaluing the power, you're dividing the power, it's no longer centralized. State governors no longer need to go to Abuja to beg for monthly allocations. State governments can generate funds, revenues within them, their states. Also use these same funds to develop their states. The reason why secession is on the high is because of bad leadership, nothing more. Most states are underdeveloped. Now, for some time here in Anambra State, A lot of people are crying, screaming on top of their voice that the state government is not doing anything, the state government is not doing this and that. Now, just because of one thing, because there is no road and there is no constant electricity. These are the two major issues when we, the commoners, need just road. And if you should address infrastructure in most parts of the country, reduce cost of living, allow people to apply and get jobs just like their counterparts. I don't think anybody will be there clamoring for is that you even be busy building your life instead of paying attention to what the government is doing. In other developed countries, people no longer look for what the government will do for them. What they look for is how to develop themselves. That is why in most countries, they've gone way beyond asking for a particular thing other than what will benefit them directly. So the issue about secession and restructuring is just centered on bad leadership and accumulation of frustration.
It's not just when you say bad leadership, it's not just bad leadership. Marginalization is a core point there. You understand? I don't think I tell you to name 2 Nigerian presidents that are not from the north or the west, you can't name it. And there's nothing in this life that you can tell me that is going to justify that. Because we've had people come out and we know the truth. We don't need, it's not things that we're not kids here. You know, there's nothing that they'll come and start telling you that this is that. No, you know that because of maybe what happened then, some people now perceive some people to be certain ways, and they don't think that okay, we want them to be in such areas or corridors of power. Do you get? Now even on social media, even rampant, any small thing, maybe they'll now post say they don't catch this person, he carry drug. Once they say the person name and from southeast, bam, they go tell you say now then they spell her name everywhere. Now then, now from there they always get problem. The only way thing they know be that and ritual, and they know. Say I parents will come to the go. They don't use their mouth, they talk now, right? So you understand? So it's not just about bad or good leadership, per se. You understand? You can't have, let's say, 70 ministers and 65 of them are from the north.
And so there's something. If you're talking about restructuring, we practice the same federalism the US practice, but constitutionally we are different.
Yes.
So you talking about restructuring Nigeria, you know that's a far-fetched dream.
It's very far.
Even though you want to say you want to restructure, you have to go and overhaul the constitution because
that means Nigeria police force has to be broken down
after the war, after the
Nigeria police force is not supposed to exist again.
Yeah.
It has to be
break it down. Then even at that,
police force, Lagos police force.
Even at that, the president does not have executive order again.
Yes,
where you can deploy the military
and still have state of emergency.
So you can't do that anymore, and it can't work in Nigeria when it comes to restructuring. Let's tell ourselves the truth. It can't work in Nigeria. Many states, many northern states, and many states in Nigeria are taking allocation for what their states are not producing or even allowing in their states. So when you restructure states like Niger State,
because they are bigger, they take more. Someone that's only producing
that supposed to go into agriculture, and every year we hear that funds and allocation are being pumped in for them to have something for export for themselves or for them to bring down to us that they are producing, and yet you don't get that. You say you now restructure. What are you restructuring in allocation? What are you going to allocate to them that they are bringing up from their own region that you want to allocate resources to?
The problem is not allocating to them. Once you restructure, you're giving every state or every region. It happened before.
Well, you have to give a start of funds. If you overhaul the constitution and you're bringing restructuring, there are states that don't have anything in their cover.
Even worse, the bad blood don't go too much.
The average Nigerian in the street is fantastically corrupt. That you want to restructure,
The point is this here: the bad blood has gone too deep. Do you understand? It's so deep that, like, it's noticeable. Even common social media, small talk, They don't turn
They
on
have divided themselves.
They don't turn on to tribal
Now,
war.
I started.
They say that Yoruba they do this.
I started
this
saying the issue there is our social background, religious background, political background,
and our history.
Now, and what has happened in the
Yes, our history.
Now, if you're restructuring, you're giving each region power to decide on what to do and the rest. It's just like those in Abuja control 80% of what happens in Nigeria. Now you're restructuring it, reducing their power to just say 20%. You're talking about security. Most states now have their own state police. And is what in fact, there is even some state has already passed it into law.
You say they have their own security outfits because not police. They are more Amotekos,
and these are state policing. This is what
you don't call them state policing.
We just call them
security outfit that probably some of the when they started, I'm not you're talking about when it started, it was individuals that started before the government adopted
it. Yes, it's true.
So and likewise, what's these people in Kano, these Sharia guys in Kano,
Sharia police,
in police, what they have a name. They started they started the government Kano funded them. So when you talk about this, and I'm scared of restructuring. For talking about restructuring, I'm scared. And you say you want to restructure, and then
scared of restructuring.
Let me land first. You restructure, and as in Nigeria, while we still, even though it's bad, while we still in the federalism we are in, I can confidently travel to the north and work freely in the north, do business, conduct business in the north. If it's job, I go and I come back. I imagine with the tribal tension. As an Enyamere that I am, and we have restructured, and I go to Kano or I go to Kaduna, that was said I don't come down, and I go to Kaduna, and as an Enyamere, and I have business that in a way it's going to shape the financial state of this of that particular state, and you have to be known in a way, and they find out you are an Enyamere that is coming. What do you think will happen with that tribal mentality already on ground? Check the US, there are laws that favors a particular side in each state. In some certain states, marijuana is not a crime. You go to this particular state, marijuana is a crime. You go to this state, there are gun laws. Go here, there's no gun laws. So just imagine that scenario. Restructuring in Nigeria. Let's say the average Anambra man, as far as money they involve, you give me my share, they are okay. That is the thing for Anambra man. But if you go to the core north, and I don't want to mention names. If you go to the core north, you find out that you bring business deal or something about money that normally is free to go find them. If some people find out that you're from this particular region of the country, you find it difficult to do business with you. I own cows, and most of the times I prefer to cross into Niger State to go and buy cows. Right? If I go and I don't go with my guy that is very fluent in Hausa to speak with me, and they find out that I find it hard. Cows that are sold for 30k, 40k. 70k upwards. Right. So imagine you restructure and you give power to states. In a way, I find it that what we just find a good leader and put there. Maybe stew for everybody. But when you talk about restructuring and giving power to these nepotic human beings to sit there as state government, well, you can't cross over and do business like you do now.
Don't you think that most of these things you go out there? Most of these things you go out there to do, as in most of the things that push you into going to do business in these old places and get cheated. Don't you think that it will also give room for people from the southeast to venture into that? Before now, they don't know us as farmers. They know us as strictly businessmen. But a lot of things happen. Okay, let's say when after NSAS and the rest, there was shortage of food supply in the southeast. How did we survive that? We were forced to think home, get the job done. A lot of people went into fishing. A lot of people went into fish farming, into piggery and the rest. Before, we saw that as a very meager job to do. Like, we don't have interest in that. If it's not buying and selling, traveling abroad, the Igbo man doesn't want to hear. Before, how now there are so many things the Igbo person is ready
But I
to.
find that
I beg to differ. The problem with Igbo
how
land,
do you keep the produce rice?
yeah,
They produce salt.
so in Igbo land, the problem with Igbo land is they will produce their own thing. Then that your same thing they will produce in your own state will be more costlier than those that go over the other side to come and buy and sell.
It's not from those in the northern states. The problem is from you. You're going to deal with the issue within before you start looking at those ones outside. Now you're talking about going to Niger State to buy cow. They will Efibo. They have Efibo here in the south. Why does
How big is it?
How big?
How big is Efibo?
This is the same marginalization that you're talking about.
Cow for meat and cow for status are two different things. They are cows. Efibo is stunted,
now
black and aged. So a cow very small, like let's say, is 1.5 million.
The normal local fowl and the broilers you buy. Which one is more tasty? The local fowl. But most of us are going for the broilers because it's big.
You are saying that we are not saying the local fowl is sweet. It is your own. You are not saying
Because I don't see
entitled Igbo man doesn't even eat broilers. They go for the local fowl, most especially the layers. Yes. Go and ask.
For me, I don't see.
But because we've altered our culture and tradition, we accept everything we see. The problem we have is that we are not even contented with the one we have. We manufacture fabrics. How many of us will go to Aba and buy Aba clothes and wear? But most of us, just like the one I'm wearing, will prefer the veggies and the rest.
But you won't blame anybody because it's blooper. Small production is blooper. Yeah, you can't tell me because you're producing this year and I'll go to go and buy from them.
Just like
work from potato to potato.
Many men now, many big men are going for Innocent Car for the loss because they've upped their game.
Yes.
Before Innocent Car was just dead there. People were just now they upped their game. They upped their game and started bringing in luxury. And the average Igbo man needs luxury. That's why we go Innocent Car is I know my Toyota, I'm going to this one and I will spend $10 million to buy it. And it's still I can't ride that same Innocent for 5-6 years with Nigerian roads. But now they upped their game. You see Innocent Ikenga, Innocent Granite and stuff. I would rather buy Innocent Ikenga or Granite because I know this is luxury. And all my Innocent brand man and how to go their game. And if for this motor all 40-something million, and as an Igbo man that want to show class, I go for it. But you can't bring something below par and you want me to be tribally loyal to I'm a businessman. I need what I will bring in, I will sell and I will make gain, not well because I want to be loyal to my tribe. No waste they go. So if we are to address properly the issue within secession, restructuring, or anything, and we're talking about the Igbo enclave, then I think we'll start formatting many Igbo people's brain.
Yes.
Yes, it's true. For you to have loyalty to your tribe. You see, most of the times I tell some people that if I say Hausa the north from the north, because the Hausa man is loyal to his tribe. Just come out in any office in Nigeria and you see an Hausa man in the seat of power, and you, whether you are an Igbo, but as far as you can cry, you can give that language. The person will serve you once and then give you what you want and you leave. But if you jam an Igbo man, they say I want that. The mistake you do is cheating on you one. Just leave for that office.
Every region has their peculiarity. Like the Igbo tribe, Igbo Enweze, and any loyalty that will suppress your voice is no longer loyalty. Only loyalty that suppresses your voice, that denies you your freedom, is no longer loyalty. It's slavery. So if you're talking about forgetting the Igbo's brain or being loyal to your tradition, the war has gone beyond what it used to be. Our forefathers had no room for technology and the rest. Our brain has already expanded beyond the normal Igbo and slavery and that cultural slavery you're talking about.
It's not slavery.
No,
the loyalty the loyalty the North practice among themselves in a way that's slavery.
That is why
attack you. It's not slavery. They are loyal.
That is why the northern part of the country, sorry to say this, most of them are being brainwashed to do certain things they don't want to do.
That's religious fanaticism, not tribalism.
Religious fanaticism.
Do you not have many ethnic groups more than us, the South?
Listen, I was born and brought up in the north.
Okay.
Shandam precisely. Even amongst the northern indigenes, there are tussle for supremacy. I'm not talking about religion. Even among those little clients, like let me use Shandam to be precise. If you come to Shandam, they have the Ngas, the Gumai, and the rest living together. Even among them, they pick who becomes who do such, who do this, and who does that. The problem with us humans is that we act based on our instincts, and the environment we live in influence whatever we do. Now, imagine the Hausa man who travels from the north down to the east. His behavior with the same Hausa man that lives in the north is not the same. He's been exposed to a lot of things. The normal Hausa guy that will come and polish your shoe and do the rest, it's not the same. His dressing is not same as the same Hausa man you see in Sabongiri in Kano. He's been exposed. The only issue we have is managing our resources right, making proper use of what we have at hand. Now, let's say I give you 100,000 naira, give the Hausa man 100,000 naira, go home and develop the place. The Hausa man goes home, empower his people. You, the evil man, comes home, call party, click out, buy drink. Everybody drink and go home and hear you.
Now, the Hausa man, I'm giving an instance.
The Hausa man invested in his people, but you, the Igbo man, embezzle the resources for yourself. Yes, we know that corruption is everywhere, but the truth is that how many projects can you point now? And most of these politicians from the Igbo nation go to Abuja, came back and develop. How many projects can you point? Very few. But they drive luxury cars.
Because you are not holding them accountable.
Because you're not paying attention. So let's say if we go to the north, we're going to see projects. I want to know if it's the same north that my people used to go to. There's and that.
I travel to the north.
Besides the roads, I don't think there's anything else. Besides the roads. The roads,
they have structures. They have a lot of things. Let me even start with what do they call it? Let me start with the water resources. How many dams are in the north that supplies water? The ones that supply here in the east, how many are functional? Go to Enugu. Scarcity of water everywhere. Not that the state government cannot do anything about it, but because the state government don't want to. And there are allocations for that. Every year, billions of naira are being allocated for the same water that you ask the state government to give you. But in the north, like Shandam, where I was born, every day they must supply you water. Shandam used to be a very timid village, but today it's very developed. I'm not saying there are places that are not developing in the south. There are, because individuals comes in and develop their states. But the one you see other places is different. And again, if most of our ports and the rest are developed, states control all these things. You wouldn't be complaining of buying a luxury car for 10 million naira when you can buy Kuru. After all, Innocent here was complaining about tariff, electricity supply.
But that's not the problem.
So we have node. Why is node now cheaper than Innocent brand? Well, if you're complaining of this or that, see, one thing I've come to.
You even said something about ports, and I just want to realize that okay, the
it's not the same government. Function. It's not the same government.
That's same marginalization when we talk about
if the government had improve on the
Now the
condition of
moderation, let make them if you improve on that thing.
or rather before now.
You know why they didn't have
Before
an interest in it is because they didn't
They didn't see
it was possible.
No, they didn't see somebody that would represent that image of what they wanted.
And you're blaming somebody who has discovered that if you want to develop your area, you have to seize power. You're blaming somebody who discovered that before you.
Wait, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Seize power. Seize power from who? Who? The people that control the national resources. Seize power from people that control the military. Seize power from the people that control the judges. Seize power from that control the electoral officers. Seize power from who exactly?
Seize power from?
The system has already been engineered in a way you can't seize the power unless you go confrontational. And confrontational meaning we go fit turn ourselves to South Sudan and Sudan.
Yes.
See, this thing has been rigged. Let's not talk about this restructuring politics, bringing in a messiah. Even if P2B enters there,
it's still going to be very hard.
It's still going to be very hard for him because it has been rigged. How many, when it comes to senatorial seats, how many does the Southeast have? How many does the North have?
So before you come
so you can't bring in one person. That's why when you bring Jesus, because he can't do shit.
If you're talking about how many does the Southeast have and the rest, it is still part of the agenda to restructure and so that there will be a creation of new states.
Do you know Nigerians' problem? I don't even see Nigerians' problem. When it comes to Nigerian key issue, to me, I tell people Nigerian key issue aside tribe, religion.
Another thing.
Check what happened during and after the election. South, North. You will not tell me whether most of the things that were clamoring, whether it was tribe or some people were loyal to religion. So Nigeria have many issues that if you restructure, you'll be shooting yourself on the foot.
Now you're talking about, if you're even talking about the same religion, let's assume we've separated. Christianity is dominant in the Southeast. What happens to those who practice traditional beliefs?
That's one thing.
What happens to those?
Christians don't come out.
They don't survive.
Yes, no,
they don't even frontally attack them. You don't see a Christian coming out to challenge somebody practicing tradition.
Before now,
sometimes they will coexist.
See, they don't coexist.
They coexist.
Did you know there was a Christian pastor and a traditionalist who teamed up and was giving us content back to back?
With masquerade.
That was doing the traditional way. When you visit a place, you were a Karen.
You're talking about 1 out of 10. You're talking about 1 out of 10. Now there are so many people who feel stigmatized because they every morning they go and counsel. Wafa.
Who is stigmatizing them?
Who is stigmatizing them?
Close where I live currently here in my house. I have somebody every morning who I don't come out and tell the person I come out and I shake you.
I said 1 out of 10.
I've not seen where you I've not heard.
I've not do something.
I've not seen where there's strife between Christian and
the case of the. Let me draw your attention to this thing now you're trying to do. The case of the digital Dibia that was kidnapped. When the news broke out, who are the people who celebrated his kidnapping? Most of them were Christians.
That's for people that were dishing out content.
Don't say way. Don't get alter someone's man.
Likewise, when they kidnap a pastor,
most people that celebrated that were happy that he kidnapped people, people that believed that he was deceiving people. Do you understand? If you read the comments, you understand that they'll be like, say thank God, this is not that will be life for them. Say this one, say why is the one kidnapper? Why he made disappear? Why he made make them drop? But because there was a video he made then that he said, if your stuff strong, so person come point you gun, person go fish shoot you. But if your stuff strong, the person point you gun, the gun will drop for ground.
There are cases where a priest was kidnapped and shot at. How many people criticized that incident? How many people asked where is that gun?
Fundamental slavery, Don't mental slavery doing first now. That's a mental slavery. You understand? We're already mentally tuned to always believe anything concern Christianity that the A and Amen.
Likewise Islam.
Likewise Islam. You can't when you go to kill our senses
issue about the religious part of
just like when you come out and you're talking about Muhammad, peace be unto him. You're talking about the prophet, and then you talk something, whether it's bad, you pick out something from the Quran, whether it's bad or it's good. To the core Islamic person, all the thing Muhammad, peace be unto him, did, he was right. And when you go through the Quran as a Christian, you sit down and tell yourself, "Oh, boy, this guy no try at all." You don't concern you. To them, he did the best.
The
and
issue
right.
we're having is not whether you believe in Christianity or not. The issue we're having when it comes to religious is just religious tolerance.
We are more religious than we are more religious in the southeast than in the north. So if we succeed, if the southeast as a Nigerian, if the southeast succeed, I think religion won't be a problem for the southeast.
Yes.
I think tribe will be a problem for the southeast itself.
You told me already. I don't they told me. I've been listening.
Who sabi do the job?
Doesn't give the basic Igbo man the necessary things he needs for him to strive well in his business. If you back all the money, you don't concern now. As far as he's making
no, two of you are going to come again and talk about it. People are ready to go. Look at that, just log ahead and like, okay, you guys want to hear your own views? Please comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We've come to the end of another amazing episode of Hottakes with S.O.G, and we'll see you next time. I'm signing out as Official Baby Red. This is S.O.G, Ambassador Ifechukwu, and Comrade
Onukwube
Augustine.
I want you to pronounce that song.
Onukwube Augustine.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.